Live from New Delhi, you watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's global outreach on Operation Sindoor continues. All party delegations engage with key figures in multiple nations, highlighting India's continued fight against terrorism. As Putin rejects Vatican peace talks proposal, Trump says Putin is playing with fire while Russia makes gains in Ukraine. US halts student visa appointments and plans expanded social media vetting. The move as a part of Trump's wide-ranging efforts to fulfill his hardline immigration agenda. Global climate predictions show temperatures expected to remain at or near record levels in the next 5 years. New Delhi's message of zero tolerance against terrorism is echoing worldwide, with India's multi-party delegations holding back-to-back interactions with world leaders, parliamentarians, think tanks, media and civil society in different countries to further unmask Pakistan's cross-border terrorism. An all-party delegation led by DMK MP Kanimuri Karunanidhi reached Greece on Tuesday evening. The delegation was received by the Indian ambassador to Greece, Rudendra Tandon, at the airport. The delegation will be in Greece for the next 1.5 days, where they will be interacting with government officials, media personalities and parliamentarians of Greece, highlighting Pakistan's terrorism and India's Operation Sindoor. Another multi-party delegation led by MP Shrikant Shinde-led delegation is in Congo to brief Congolese officials on India's response to the April 22nd Pahalgam terror attack and its broader fight against cross-border terrorism while engaging with leaders. The delegation had a meeting with the President of Foreign Affairs Commission Congo, B. Ulungue Konda Lukata, on Tuesday. Following the meeting, Shrikant Shinde, in a joint conference, expressed gratitude to Congo's president to the Foreign Affairs Commission for standing firmly with India in its fight against terrorism. Another multi-party delegation led by MP B.J. Panda arrived in Saudi Arabia on the third leg of their four-nation visit on Tuesday. The delegation was received by Major General Abdul Rahman Al Harbe, chairman of the Saudi-India Friendship Committee in Riyadh. Saudi Arabia has been an important partner of India for years at various fronts, and now it stands with India in its fight against terrorism. Further, an all-party delegation led by BJP MP Ravi Prasad reached Italy's Rome on the second leg of the multi-nation visit on Wednesday. In Rome, the delegation would be interacting with the members of parliament, think tanks and media. They will also meet a cross-section of vibrant Indian community in Italy. Multi-party parliamentary delegation led by Sanjay Kumar Jha arrived in Indonesia's capital Jakarta on the third leg of its multi-nation visit on Wednesday with an aim to convey India's unequivocal stance against terrorism. During the course of their stay in Jakarta, the delegation will engage with members of the Indonesian government, parliamentarians, leaders of political parties, ASEAN Secretary General, resident ambassadors, think tanks, academia, media and a cross-section of the Indian community in Indonesia. An all-party Indian parliamentary delegation led by Indian Parliament member Supriya Sule commenced the South Africa engagement on Tuesday in Johannesburg with a community interaction to reiterate India's message against terrorism. The Indian delegation conveyed India's zero-tolerance policy towards cross-border terrorism. DD India's Nazneen Ismail has sent us this report.
The Indian all-party delegation led by Supriya Sule arrived safely in South Africa on the 27th of May and will be in the country up until the 29th of May, attending a series of meetings. As part of the visit, the delegation will travel to Cape Town and engage with key stakeholders. Upon arrival, the delegation attended a short briefing with the High Commissioner of India.
South Africa and India have been partners for many years. South Africa and India a strategic partner since 1990. First Indians to come in South Africa was in 1860 as indentured labor. So there's a long history with South Africa. We are working together in multilateral programs and also bilaterally. Prime Minister was here in 2023 for the BRICS meeting. He will be coming for G20 meeting, which is taking place in November. So, and he has come twice before as well.
Thereafter attended a community interaction in Johannesburg where the Indian diaspora turned up in large numbers and warmly welcomed the delegation.
Bharat Mata ki Jai! Bharat Mata ki Jai! Bharat Mata ki Jai! Jai Hind! Jai Hind!
I appeal to every Indian citizen here that you must tell the truth to the world, and we all in one voice must condemn any terrorism anywhere in the world. And we have come with a message of peace, love, harmony. But at the same time, we must not forget that India is not going to tolerate any violence against any Indians anymore. And that's the message that we have come. Our first effort will always be peace. I'm so happy that South Africa, the government has stood by India, and they have joined hands with us for zero tolerance against any terrorism.
The message from this visit is clear. India is against terrorism in all its forms and will remain resolute in its stand against it. For DD India, Johannesburg, South Africa, I'm Nazneen, bringing you the pulse on global progress.
An all-party delegation led by India's Member of Parliament Shashi Tharoor visited Panama's National Assembly to share India's views on fighting terrorism. In his address to the Assembly, Dr. Shashi Tharoor once again reiterated India's firm stance against terrorism and recalled key operations like that of Uri and Balakot strikes, which marked a shift in India's response strategy.
But what has changed in recent years is that the terrorists have also realized they will have uprisings to pay. On that, let there be no doubt. When, for the first time, India breached the line of control between India and Pakistan to conduct a surgical strike on a terror base, a launch pad, the Uri strike in September 2015, that was already something we had not done before. Even during the Kargil War, we had not crossed the line of control. In Uri, we did. Then came the attack in Pulwama in January 2019. This time we crossed not only the line of control, we crossed the international border and we struck a terrorist headquarters in Balakot. This time we have gone beyond both of those. We have not only gone beyond the line of control and the international border, we have struck at the Punjabi heartland of Pakistan by hitting terror bases, training centers, terror headquarters in 9 places.
India's all-party parliamentary delegation has wrapped up its two-day visit to Paris. According to delegation members, the visit to Paris was fruitful and they succeeded in conveying their message to both the French government and the French people. DD India's Rohini Gosave reports from Paris.
During 2 days stay in Paris, all-party delegation led by Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad held several important meetings to strengthen the partnership between India and France. The delegation is carrying a strong and united message from India that there will be no compromise on terrorism.
The delegation met the Indian community, they met the French media, they met French think tanks, French parliamentarians at the National Assembly and the Senate, where they conveyed India's new normal approach, which has been articulated against terrorism, where they expressed the need to fight this common challenge of terrorism that the world is confronted with today.
The delegation met with members of the French Senate and the India-France Friendship Group. They discussed about working together to fight terrorism. The discussions were friendly and positive. Both sides agreed on the importance of continuing dialogue between parliaments of India and France. The meeting helped build more trust and friendship, and both countries showed interest in taking the partnership forward through more talks and cooperation.
We are fighting against terrorism in France also, and I think it's a very strong, exactly like the president of the delegation I said it's like a cancer, and we have to fight against it. And I think we are stronger when we are together against this cancer.
A special breakfast meeting was also held with members of the French media. The delegation had open and friendly conversations. They also presented strong evidence against Pakistan's false claims and repeated India's firm stand against terrorism. And they especially mentioned that Rafale are the best thing India has in our defense.
Everybody stood in solidarity with India. They understand the pain of terrorism. They understand the concerns that we are raising. Our concerns with regards to bringing accountability to a rogue nation like Pakistan. And what was extremely encouraging was that France totally understands a point of view, a perspective, and has come out strongly in solidarity with us.
The delegation also met with the Indian community in Paris, and diaspora welcomed the delegation with pride. The members of delegation clearly said that India does not tolerate terrorism and called for support from other countries to fight it together. With all meetings completed successfully, the delegation has left Paris to continue its European tour and hold further discussions and strengthen India's ties with other European countries. Rohini Gosavi in Paris for DD India.
India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri is on a visit to the United States till May 29th. During his visit, he met U.S. Under-Secretary Jeffrey Kessler, discussing India-US cooperation in critical and emerging technologies. They also discussed early convening of the India-US Strategic Trade Dialogue to deepen tech and trade collaboration. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri's visit is a follow-up to Prime Minister's visit to the United States in February 2025, when both sides had launched the India-US Compact, which stands for Catalyzing Opportunities for Military Partnership, Accelerated Commerce and Technology for the 21st Century. Compact is a 10-year roadmap to elevate the US-India major defense partnership, enabling co-production and joint development of critical military platforms. It's 28th May today. 2 years ago on this day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the new Parliament House. While dedicating the building to the nation, Prime Minister Modi described it as the beginning of a new era of new India. Let's revisit the journey of the new Parliament building and explore its features.
संसद का ये नया भवन भारत के विकास से विश्व के विकास का भी आह्वान करेगा.
India's new parliament tells the glorious story of the changing picture of changing India. The new parliament is the testament of the maturity of the world's largest democracy and shaping its new dreams. As the new parliament completes 2 years today, it has marked a significant journey of change. One of the most notable milestones was its first bill, which underscored the essence of the new parliament. This landmark legislation, the Nari Shakti Vandan Act 2023, symbolized the internal empowerment of India's democracy by ensuring 33% reservation for women in the Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies.
विधेयक संविधान के अनुच्छेद 368 के उपबंधों के अनुसार अपेक्षित बहुमत द्वारा पारित हुआ.
महिलाओं को अधिकार देने का, महिलाओं की शक्ति का उपयोग करने का वो काम, शायद ईश्वर ने ऐसे कई पवित्र काम के लिए मुझे चुना है. 19 सितंबर की ये तारीख इसीलिए इतिहास में अमरत्व को प्राप्त करने जा रहे हैं.
The new parliament is laced with many features. The triangular shape of the new parliament building bears the influence from the sacred geometry found in various religions across the world. In terms of design and material, it complements the old parliament and is well capable of functioning for the next 150 years. The Lok Sabha, or the lower house of the parliament chamber, has mammoth 888 seats instead of 543 and can be increased to more than 1200. The Lok Sabha is in function for joint meetings of both the houses. The Rajya Sabha, or the upper house chamber, can now accommodate 384 members of parliament instead of 250. The capacity of both chambers has been increased in anticipation of any future rise in the number of MPs after delimitation. Construction material has been brought from across the country for the internal and external construction of the building. The building embodies national symbols, including the national emblem, the Lion of Ashoka pillar, installed at the top of the building. The golden sceptre, known as Senkol, is present near the Speaker's podium in the Lok Sabha chamber. The new parliament reflects India's unity, heritage, and aspirations for progress. With a focus on modernity and sustainability, all records, proceedings, questions, and official business have been digitized. No wonder the new parliament stands as a beacon of hope, guiding India toward the vision of a developed and progressive nation. With inputs from Rishi Kumar, Bureau Report, DD India.
You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. French President Emmanuel Macron is in Indonesia to discuss defense ties with President Prabowo Subianto in Jakarta today. Nepal vows to keep Himalayas safe and clean at the International Everest Summiteers Summit 2025 in Kathmandu. And also see how an Indian venture is upcycling used alcohol bottles into stylish home decor.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Tanvi Taneja. US President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that Russian President Vladimir Putin was playing with fire. Trump's latest comments follow some of the biggest drone and missile attacks on Ukraine since the conflict began in early 2022. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said what Vladimir Putin doesn't realize is that if it weren't for him, lots of really bad things would have happened already to Russia. A top Russian security official, Dmitry Medvedev, responding to US President Donald Trump's criticism of the Kremlin leader Vladimir Putin, said on Tuesday that the only truly bad thing to worry was about the Third World War. Medvedev responded on the social media platform X, and I quote him here, regarding Trump's words about Putin playing with fire and really bad things happening to Russia. I only know of one really bad thing, World War III. I hope Trump understands this. Russian authorities on the intervening night of Tuesday and Wednesday reported intercepting 112 Ukrainian drones across 6 regions, including Bryansk, Kursk, Belgorod, in a 3-hour span ending at midnight. The attack has forced at least 3 Moscow airports to suspend flights. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin confirmed 12 drones targeting the capital were downed, forcing Nukovo and Chukovsky airports to suspend flights as per the Federal Aviation Transport Agency. This follows Ukraine's claim of enduring Russia's heaviest retaliatory drone strikes. Russia's defense ministry labeled the Ukrainian strikes a provocation, retaliating with drone and missile attacks on civilian sites. Such intense Ukrainian drone assaults on Moscow are far from the border and are rare but increasing. The Trump administration plans to end the federal government's remaining contracts with the Harvard University, which are valued at around $100 million. The U.S. General Services Administration sent a letter to the federal agencies directing them to review and potentially terminate or reallocate these contracts. This move follows the administration's broader push against Harvard, including cancelling nearly $3 billion in federal research grants and attempting to revoke the university's ability to enroll international students. A federal judge temporarily blocked this move, but the administration has also stopped scheduling new student and exchange visitor visa appointments. Several hundred protesters, including Harvard University students and professors, demonstrated in support of foreign students at the Harvard campus on Tuesday, while also protesting Trump administration efforts to cut off funding to the university. French President Emmanuel Macron met with his Indonesian counterpart Prabowo Subianto in Jakarta on Wednesday, seeking to deepen trade and defence ties with Southeast Asia's largest economy on the second leg of a three-nation tour, promoting France as a balancing power between the US and China. Macron met Prabowo Subianto at the presidential palace in Jakarta, hailing their country's close relationship after being greeted by a guard of honour, gun salute, and thousands of young Indonesians waving French flags. The French president will later meet investors, students, and attend a state dinner. On Thursday, he will travel to Yogyakarta on Indonesia's Java Island to visit the world's largest Buddhist temple before heading to Singapore to conclude his 6-day visit. The United Nations World Meteorological Organization on Wednesday reported that a 70% chance exists that global warming will exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels between 2025 and 29, following record heat in 2023 and 24. The World Meteorological Organization's annual climate report, compiled by the UK's Met Office, projects annual temperatures to rise between 1.2 and 1.9 degrees Celsius during this period, with an 80% likelihood of a new record warmest year. The report also notes a 1% chance of exceeding 2 degrees Celsius in 1 year. The agency's Co-Barrett highlighted worsening impacts on economies and ecosystems, while experts like Friederike Otto criticized continued reliance on fossil fuels amid global climate crises. And now, with 25 days until the International Day of Yoga 2025, India's Consul General in Shanghai, Pratik Mathur, met with Chinese yoga enthusiasts and Shu Dei, President of China Asia Economic Development Association, to promote yoga's holistic benefits. The Ministry of Ayush praised the initiative, noting its role in fostering cultural exchange and health awareness. The event, hosted by the Indian Consulate in China, featured discussions on yoga's global resonance, aligning with the theme Yoga for One Earth, One Health. India's push reflects its leadership in yoga diplomacy since the UN declared June 21st as International Day of Yoga in 2014, following Prime Minister Narendra Modi's advocacy. Hundreds of Everest summiteers from India, China, Pakistan, the US, New Zealand and from other countries gathered at the first ever International Everest Summiteers Summit 2025 held in Kathmandu. Inaugurating the event, Nepal's Tourism Minister Badri Prasad Pandey asserted that conservation of mountains and mountain cultures for the future generation is the common responsibility of all of us. In the event, Minister Pandey honoured several national and international climbers, along with Kancha Sherpa, who climbed Sagarmat Everest as a part of Edmund Hillary's expedition team in 1953 with the Lifetime Achievement Award.
The government is strongly committed to supporting mountaineering in every possible way by keeping climbers safe, by protecting the natural beauty of our peaks, and by helping local communities grow alongside the spirit of adventure.
A decade ago, two former journalists turned a do-it-yourself project into a thriving upcycling business called Kavi, the Poetry Art Project. Now they collect discarded bottles from rag pickers, transforming them into unique items like glassware, planters and lamps. With a focus on sustainability, Kavi aims to reduce waste while promoting environmental change. Their BYOB initiative invites customers to bring their bottles for upcycling into custom creations, blending creativity with eco-consciousness. And Hong Kong's first locally born twin giant pandas have finally received their long-anticipated official names, Jia Jia and Dei Dei. The names of the cubs, affectionately known as elder sister and little brother, were announced on Tuesday in a ceremony at the Ocean Park, the theme park housing them. their parents and 2 other giant pandas that arrived from mainland China last year. The names were the winning suggestions from residents in a naming contest that drew more than 35,700 entries. So that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja. From all of us here in New Delhi, thank you for watching. Namaskar.